travel to the Serpent Lord Shrine, touch down on an area close to the deserted encampment. And because you saw some activity, what looked like a small sky ship, on touching down quite loudly, you were all almost instantly attacked by some Yuan Chi that were in the area that seemingly just had a skirmish with some likely some members of the FETC. You ultimately defeated the Yuan Chi and uncovered the partially digested body of a halfling FETC agent, along with a journal of his and a brass key. So where we start, you are still just in the aftermath of this melee, just trying to get a sense of your surroundings.
I feel like we touched down kind of quietly.
Some more than others.
I think James
Okay,
Varric was more of a falling. Me and Varric.
I remember someone made a point to make as much noise as possible.
Sounds like very
Perfect.
Hey. Did we all look at that letter? I can't remember. Did we all get a chance to look at that?
Not look at the one.
I don't know if Shar.
Oh wait, this is the letter that we took from that dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember if you did. You found it, and I wasn't sure if you shared it. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think I did. Yeah.
Sweet.
I wouldn't have a reason not to. James sent me a cryptic text message. It said, "I'm driving," and then it said "sent for my car." I think he meant that. I think he meant to send it to the group.
Just to you.
I was like, that is hilarious. But okay, message received.
Hopefully he makes it. Did we only find? Cass is looking around away from the rest of the group for any other bodies. Surely there would be more FETC from this crash.
Give me an investigation check.
Poor. 9.
Okay, so first off, it doesn't look like a crash per se. Like the skyship is just touched down.
Okay.
You don't see any evidence or tracks of anyone else. It looks like this was just one agent that was here. You do hear Varric kind of like loudly trying to pillage the ship.
Okay. Let me know if you find anything good in there, buddy. Doesn't seem like there's bodies.
You watch as Varric it looks like he's kind of given up on the ship. Like you see as he steps out, he kind of hits his head on the because this is just not built to be glass size. You see as he just kind of like curses under his breath and then just like storms off and just goes, "There's nothing aboard."
Cool.
So you have the letter and the key.
Yeah.
Sandara's just reading over the letter a couple of times.
Cass walks back, head hung a little low, and like kicks some dirt. So I think maybe I owe you two an apology, or maybe everybody here. I don't know. I get the sense that nobody's really happy with the recklessness that I've been kind of being lately. And maybe I should have let you all know this before, but I've made it a little difficult for me to actually die. Not Elhorn levels, but I got rid of that trinket, that charm, so I think that'll help some, but just so everything's out in the open, if I were to die, 2 steps now, used to be 3, 2 steps, first step, I'll go into Vale's body, a little soul transfer there, but that has a chance of failing. If that fails, and he pulls out a little carved statue of himself, I've been casting Revivify on this every 10 or so days. The first step fails, this triggers. And if that fails, well, we have Alara. But listen, I know I've been reckless, but I have had a plan. Might help to share it with you all.
Yeah, it's that last part for me, helping to share so that, we don't jump in front of you as you kind of move towards dying, as I've noticed in the last few, weeks or so. But yeah, thanks for letting us know. And she looks back down at the letter.
Cool. Glad that's taken care of. Does that say anything important?
It seems to be very important and very hard to interpret. A lot of words that I don't quite understand. But here, maybe you and your traveler and the world tree know a little bit about this, but it seems to deal a lot with the serpent creator snakes things that you talked about a while ago.
Okay.
Cass is pouring over the letter. Starter, what are you doing?
This is just after our battle when we collected the letter.
Yep, this is just after you basically just found the letter and then handed it to your companions. Around you, you see the kind of what looks like an abandoned encampment, and then there is still the sky ship, the small sky ship that is in the clearing.
That is not ours. Is that correct?
That is not yours.
Okay. Is there anyone on it from what I can see?
Varric hopped on it and then did like what looked to your eyes to be a pretty slapdash, like look around, and then got frustrated and
Okay. Char's just sort of, no offense, Cass, but unemotionally attached to this whole situation. So while Cass was giving his apology, she was just sort of kicking around looking for anything valuable. And if there was nothing on the ground level, then she was going to go investigate the sky ship.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
One moment. That is a 12.
Okay. Um, with that, you do notice there's the ship looks almost suspiciously bare. Like some of the basics of even just like living, like the area that you would expect to be the captain's quarters, is quite literally like a completely empty room with no furniture. The room looks a little bit small to your eyes, and as you go to the back panel, there's a there's a door that, not a door, just I guess a panel at the back wall just doesn't look right. There's something wrong about it. Um, it seems like the room is smaller than it should be, and the wall just looks like it's the shade of paint is just like slightly more fresh than everything else. It's a slightly different like staining of the wood panels. It just doesn't look right. Other than that, you don't really find anything else in the ship.
And that's the wall in the back of the captain's quarters?
Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna like start knocking and listening, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's like a fake room. So I'm gonna just basically try to like bust through the wall or pry it open or something.
Okay, give me a thieves tool check. So it's proficiency, dexterity, d20.
Thieves. Yeah, I have a thing for it. Oh, I'm awful at thieves' tools. That's a 35.
Okay. As you are kind of like you immediately clock the panels off, you just get in there and knocking. It's very clearly hollow, and there appears to be some kind of like kind of weak enchantment on it. In no time, you kind of use your claws to just kind of tap, 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 and then you get to a point where the paneling is a little bit thicker, and then you just kind of feel around that area, and sure enough, there appears to be some kind of illusory magic, but there is a very well hidden keyhole right in that spot. And you recall the brass key that you picked up from the halfling.
Okay, I'm gonna use the key. See
Okay.
where this leads.
You slot the key in, and sure enough, the paneling just like you hear this loud knock, and the paneling just like folds in on itself, and like a curtain of wood being peeled back on either side. You see a large, um, basically like a large chest towards the back of the room, as well as some scattered like valuables. It looks like you've got. There appears to be a spell scroll. There are two potions of supreme healing. And then there's a third potion that you don't quite recognize. And then about 7,500 gold pieces.
Did anyone write that down?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
Cool. There's a little treasure room. That's it.
And sorry, and that's all without looking inside the chest.
Oh, I didn't look inside the chest. Does the
No,
key open the chest?
it does not.
Oh. Is it something I can attempt to lockpick?
It is probably going to be difficult, but you can try.
Okay. Do I do a thieves tool again?
Yep.
What did I say? 28?
Okay, sure enough. The latches open, and as you look inside, you see this massive, what almost looks like a stone sundial. It's kind of this like greenish moss and gray rock, but it's shaped in this kind of beautifully symmetric, like half crescent with these dull slots. There are 3 and 3, kind of that all make out this crescent-like shape. It is heavy. If you attempt to lift it up out of the chest, I'd say Shar can barely lift this thing up and out. And beneath that, she sees what looks like a stone tablet that look like some kind of hieroglyphs.
Ooh, okay. Char's gonna peer over the side of the ship and, oi, you all, found something up here.
Oh,
Are you bringing it down, or
bring it
are we
down.
coming up?
No, I need you guys up here.
Oh,
I can't carry it.
Eric.
Yeah, with that, Varric jumps into action and jumps up on the ship, and you hear his booming voice just go, "I was just in here." As he steps into the ring, seeing the back panel now opened and this like large bounty of treasure. You want Varric to carry the chest down?
Sure, yeah, if everything's included in there.
Yeah, he can do that. Varric very carefully carries the chest down and pulls out what looks like this kind of moss and green, like half crescent with these kind of like dead-looking slots in them. It does look like two of these slots at either end of these crescents are lit up. One is like a deep gold, and the other one is like a dark purple.
Well, that would be the keystone, I assume, referenced in this letter. If anyone's brave enough, we can start naming names, but maybe hold off on that.
I mean, yeah, so this unlocks the vault. Do we need it right now to be unlocked? We're not even close. I don't even know where the vault is. We don't need to unlock it right now, right?
No. No. But it is interesting.
It is. I kind of want to do it eventually, right? Is that? So the note says we get some pieces of scripture to maybe unlock the vault. Am I understanding that right?
Whatever, I mean, if this, kind of nodding towards the dead snake, Callum Frey, I guess if that's him, kind of believed the next clue is with the priests, Wanti priests, but, I mean, honestly...
How ironic that he said, serpents devour me whole, and that's what he ended up being.
Oh,
shit. Got what he wanted.
If we want to make friends with Xander, if we want allies with that little splinter cell group, could always just turn all this stuff into him. Or at least,
all of it?
Well, maybe not all of it, but... I don't know.
Or maybe we just... I mean, maybe we don't even tell them what we have yet, but see if we can get some information from them in exchange for our assistance. I feel like everybody wants to get their hand on this keystone, right? That's the vibe.
Is this... Yeah, I thought, oh god, I thought Ben Sozia already had access to the vault, so... Does this keystone look like it's one half of a whole, or is it, like, total in itself, complete?
looks like it's total. It looks like it's complete in and of itself, but there are clearly like it's like a multi-tiered enchantment with a total of 6 components, and only 2 of them have been activated.
Yeah.
I mean, she must not have access already. 'Cause that's the whole thing. If she had access, she'd have the heart, right?
I guess I'm just confusing it because I thought Faraday, with all of his trinkets and everything that we gave to him, I thought that's what he needed to get in.
That he got in. Yeah.
But maybe there was something else. Maybe there was this that he also needed. Really tempted to say some names here.
I mean, oh. Yeah, I don't know about that cursed eyeball part. Might get consumed by a serpent.
If we find somebody else, maybe I can convince them to say a couple names.
To use them as a... Not a bad idea. It's kind of effed up, but...
Oh, we were just talking about slaughtering an entire encampment, so, you know, using one of them.
That's fair. So, I guess we've got this, which is, I mean, that's kind of a great clue to stumble upon. Next up, World Tree?
Yeah, let me cast peers inside the chest. Spots that stone tablet. Is this any type of language? Can he read it, or is it sigils?
Can you read all languages?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are Wanti. I will paste the translation in the chat. This appears to be like a religious text. Well, I'm gonna have to retype this because Discord hates me.
Okay. Well, Cass is poring over that. He'll open the portable hole. Probably a lot easier than lugging that stuff around.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Gleaming with the fire of the ruby dawn. Wonderful.
The Ruby Dawn, you say?
His crown was of thorns, his throne of ash, and his dominion stretched across the infernal depths where the rivers of suffering flow eternal. Oh, that was edited. Don't know what got changed.
The typo, the fire was a typo.
Oh, okay.
I transcribed it in real time because anytime I try to paste something from my web,
Okay. Scratch that. I think I read fire twice. Yeah.
But you did read Ruby Dawn.
Yes. He reads the entire thing out.
okay.
Oh, Lord. You said that. Oh. Yeah, he reads it all out. You know, first instinct, just gut feeling. Yeah, this definitely involves Bensosia's lineage and the Ruby Dawn that she has, and perhaps her father.
What is the Ruby Dawn referring to?
That is referring to that thing on that ship that was in that box. You guys remember that?
I do.
We found
Yep.
an abandoned ship, and we were like, oh, let's explore this abandoned ship. There might be magical items. And then there was that kill room with all the wards on it. And then we tried to open a chest, and there was a whole bunch of dead people around the chest. And then you found a piece of paper that said something about a Ruby Dawn and how to transport it.
Yeah, and it
Let's look
was being given to Bensosia.
Mm-hmm.
Is she trying
And
to
it seemed
bring Asmodeus up to here?
Mm.
Make him a god? I thought he was already a god.
Or maybe Levistus? Because they're both stuck in hell, right? In some stalemate.
Is anyone proficient in religion? Sure, the answer is no.
In what?
And what?
Religion.
Nay.
I bet Alora is.
I would allow Cass a religion check to see if he can remember anything academically about Asmodeus.
14.
It's a huge topic that you did not specialize in. The Lord of the Nine Hells is like mystery is kind of built into the name. It's generally people don't classically think of Asmodeus as a god, but in terms of like anyone who could pull the strings of the nine hells and stay on top or on bottom, depending on how you look at it, for that long, um, is like a potentially world-ending being. If someone were trying to, I guess one thing that you would know is that classically, there's a lot of theories that Asmodeus's existence relates to him being like imprisoned, or in some interpretations of him being wounded, where there's kind of this vague implication that if that ever were to change, or if he were to either heal or be set free, that it would be like a world-ending event.
Right. Well, this is all wonderfully religiously doomsday-ish, and we don't got many friends, so maybe we keep some things close to our chest, but this was Xander's stuff, right? I mean, this person worked for Xander. They were out trying to collect these. He's obviously ahead of us in whatever he's trying to do. And I think whatever he's trying to do is what we're trying to do. Or at least stop from happening. So I'm, I kind of vote this could buy us a lot of good favor with him. And if we ever find somebody just, wandering the woods, poke into their brain a little bit, get them to speak some words into this keystone, and see what happens with that. Maybe rule out some things.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise,
So,
we
do you want to
carry
go
on.
track down Xander before we continue I don't know, exploring the shrine area.
I mean, our best bet
Yeah.
to find him is probably the FETC encampment, right?
Yeah.
The one close by.
Yeah. Or at least
Do I
find where
have
he might
a
be.
Alex? Do I have a working relationship with Xander? I feel like I did,
You did.
but I also thought that. Okay, yeah. Oh, I would know where to find him.
Um, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but after everything went down, the last time you were here, I imagine that Shar kind of left and never turned back. So in a lot of ways, like some could argue, like abandoned her post.
Mm,
Um, although Xander's crew is always like a little less than formal for an FUTC outfit. Like I would imagine that your honest impression of Xander was that like he was basically a guy with this very semi-occultish obsession that he was kind of misappropriating FUTC funds while the company just like funded this huge expedition without really much understanding of what it is he was doing.
For him.
okay. Would he be in the FETC encampment nearby?
Um, you don't necessarily know if he'd be there in person. He wasn't when you were there. He was back in Orphan playing politics.
Okay, that's right.
But you don't know how much has developed because again you've been out of the area for quite a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's probably going to be our best bet to find Xander, or at least the channel to get in touch with him is to go to the FETC encampment. So, do you guys want to do that before we head over to the World Tree?
Well, I mean, it's on the
Okay,
way.
cast.
We can just uh,
Touch
see
it really
how
quick.
big it is. Yeah, put my hand on it real quick. See if it is
Talk to
alive.
it.
Talk to it, most
Rub your
definitely.
gun on it.
Well, you're just giving me more good options. If it's a whole thing, I don't want to get too involved. It's there. We know it's there. Maybe. You're the one who drew the map. So,
I mean, yeah, if you want to go check it out, I have no qualms about it. Just, yeah.
Time of day is it?
it's mid
Oh, this is
Uh,
middle of the night.
middle of the night, yeah.
Yeah, I forget we
yeah.
landed in the dark. Okay.
Alright.
This map to scale. I look over at Char. What's the distance here? How far are we walking?
I'd say like your distance from the FETC encampment right now about 10 miles.
That's not bad.
210. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure we're not gonna like be trekking through the jungles of Vietnam for 7 days.
Fair.
Okay, so yeah, World Tree, FETC encampment. Maybe a quick peek at the ruins as we walk by. I don't know, just throwing ideas out.
Okay.
uh, or you wanna lead the way? I feel like this is your. You seem very at home in this environment.
Yeah, sure. Follow me. And then she
Maybe
just sort of like bolts off at an uncomfortably fast pace.
Oh,
immediately
God,
turns invisible.
she
Maybe
disappeared.
don't. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she's in the shadows.
Come on, guys. You got to keep up.
We'll
Oh,
follow the
she's
sound of
that
your
way.
footsteps.
Um, Shar, can you make a, let's see, mayhaps give me a survival check.
At advantage.
Sure.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. So you make it. I mean, it's not. It doesn't take long for you to be able to get to a clearing. You can very clearly see in the distance this massive tree that has been marked on your map. As you quietly make your way through the jungle, you do find that the area around this tree is clear of other trees. So there's kind of this larger opening, this clearing, where before you sits this beautiful and exotic looking tree that shoots up well into like a couple 100 feet into the air.
That's a pretty big
You're saying
tree.
there's
You're
a
now
clearing surrounding the radius of the tree or above? What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's about like a couple 100 feet each way where there is just a clearing where there's no other trees.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so I'll direct us to the perimeter before like the clear space sort of starts. Does this location just jog my memory? Does this hold any significance from the previous campaign? Something dramatic or emotional happen here?
Not that I recall specifically in the one tree.
Okay. And Char just sort of like, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say Char just sort of just takes us to the edge of a forest and then voila, gestures towards a tree.
Wow.
As you stare up into this thing, it looks like a bunch of like tangled vines, like thousands of tangled vines that are just like entwining upwards to make like the trunk of a tree. And as you look up, there's this like almost reddish, like these reddish, almost what look like veins that like travel and splay outwards, with kind of a lush treetop that is almost out of view. Um, it's casting this almost reddish gleam down onto the clearing beneath it.
Ooh, creepy.
Does the clearing look man-made or just like tree magic vibes?
It does not look a man.
Okay.
It
Does
doesn't
it look
really look
snake
like
made?
there's a lot of foot traffic here.
Okay.
It
Well,
doesn't appear to be like intelligently constructed per se from this distance.
no, doesn't look like
Um,
the Wanti are swarming, so that's nice.
you do see at the base of the tree, there appears to be kind of this like these series of pools that are um, organized around the tree. This part, I'd say, Shar, give me a survival check at advantage to determine the make of these.
22.
So, as you get a little closer, the series of pools at the foot of the tree do appear to be some kind of rudimentary, like sculpting. They're far too symmetrical to be completely natural, and they do kind of make this kind of like multi-layered pattern, the pools themselves. But there's no structures, it's just the pools.
Before we step out into the clearing, I'm still quite hurt. You guys okay with me down in one of these big potions?
Go for it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to take one of the supreme healing potions.
Okay.
Is that 8d8?
I think it is more. 10d4 plus 20.
Okay. 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 Not that great. Okay. Down one of those. Throw the glass to the side. Yeah, okay. Think about that. Grab it, put it back in the portable hole. And then a soft pulse, a soft emanation radiates off of Cass as he cast Speak with Plants, giving limited sentience and animation to plant life in a 30-foot radius around him.
Okay.
And he turns to the nearest tree. Hey, huge fan of this place. Never been here before. Has anyone else been here recently?
Well, what spell is this?
Speak with plants.
Okay.
I can ask questions about things that happened within the past 24 hours.
Okay. So you're talking to one of the plants, one of the trees that's like at the edge of the forest that goes into this place?
Yeah.
Okay. So you find this kind of exotic-looking jungle tree and ask it that. And it says, "No one has entered, but no one has left."
Okay. No one has left. That seems self-explanatory. Okay.
Well, no one has left the pools.
Right. Do people frequently step into those pools?
It takes a very brave soul to want to swim with the priestesses.
Okay, probably don't do that. Hey guys, probably don't go in those pools of maybe not water. Apparently nobody's left them.
Okay, I will not get into the glowing pools at the base of the magic tree. Also, since when do you speak to plants? Have you always done this? Shar, have you seen him speak to trees before? Not paying attention?
It's been rattling around in my brain. Haven't really done it yet.
First he speaks to the gun and now to the trees. What next?
So many things. Okay. You... I don't know that you guys have to come with me, but if you do, I just really want to just run. Fuck. It seems way too dangerous to be worth doing anything with.
Are we running to go touch the tree and then running back?
I want to talk to it.
Oh yeah, go talk to the tree. Oh, I can teleport you over there. Hmm?
I don't want to waste. I can teleport myself there too, but I was worried about fighting.
No spell, it's fine.
Alright, yeah. I'm gonna get a running start. Maybe it'll carry the momentum. You just boom boom. I keep running. Alright, He backs up
Okay,
like 10
just
feet.
can you give me like a little like, do I just do it when I feel like it, or
Let's say when I cross the tree line.
how far away is this tree? Sorry, just so I'm clear. From where the edge of the clearing to the world tree.
How far is the clearing? It looks like it's about to make it to the tree. I'd say about 150 feet. And then there's the pools are an area that is probably about 30 feet if you're trying to get over that. And that's about another 30 feet away from the tree itself.
Okay. I'll get you past the pools. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Backs up 10 or 15 feet, gets a running start. And he goes.
Okay. So you're vortex warping him? Okay. Cass breaks out into a sprint. Vortex warp. And just for the hell of it, Sundar, give me a spellcasting ability check here. I'll give you advantage because I'll say him running is helping you.
17.
Okay. So with that, you clear the pools and you are thrust like almost like 5 feet from the tree to the point that you are still like in a dead sprint. So you run and like collide into it and kind of bounce up.
Okay. Alright. Ow. Alright. Picking himself up off the ground.
Yeah, and you kind of like fell back and rolled a couple, like 10 or so feet, because it's like almost as you get towards the roots, it's kind of like a mound that goes up. So you kind of have to climb a bit if you want to physically touch the tree.
Okay. With limited sentience of plant life still up around him, he like looks back towards the group. I don't know. Up at the tree.
Turn to Shar. Did you want to go talk to the tree too?
No, not particularly. Do you guys normally just talk to plants?
No, this is the first time actually for all of this. Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to talk to the tree?
Yeah, it's fine. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. We can just sit here in silence. That's fine too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool with that.
Okay.
Cass takes a knee suddenly. Hello, Miss World Tree? Seems like you'd be a female, if you're anything.
Without anything going on, you hear, whether it's the wind or something else, a bunch of branches from above you creaking and converging on the area above, like directly above your space. And a couple leaves begin to fall.
Come in peace. In fact, I think it seems presumptuous to think you are the World Tree, but you know, it's my belief a little bit that the whole Great Wheel cosmology might be a little wrong, and or perhaps it exists with the World Tree cosmology. I'm not sure yet, but here you are in front of me, and well, my friend wrote down World Tree on a map, and I think it was a translation error, maybe, I don't know. I think I have something that belongs to you. And he vines whip out that strap the precursor to his side, and he kind of holds it out in front of him, and looks up. This doesn't exactly come from here necessarily, but if it's a part of you, I don't know if you want it back or Please don't hurt me. And he just puts his head down and raises the gun up.
Give me a wisdom check with your jack of all trades.
12, 13, 14, 16.
As you hold it up, you notice that you don't necessarily feel a response from the tree itself, but you do feel something that kind of hums within the precursor. And all of you hear the sound of a gunshot go off. And Cass, you immediately look up and you watch as what has happened is the precursor has fired like this tendril that goes directly into the tree before you and has split open its bark. And you watch as that bark that has been split open slowly clasps once again. And there's now grafted on this lone branch at the space that you've made your offering. And you watch as there's this green, almost greenish patterns that begin shooting up and spiraling up the trunk of the tree. And for a second, that greenish pattern almost changes the coloring of the bottom side of the branches as you look up. And for a brief second, the entire clearing is overcast in this greenish, vibrant light that slowly fades back into that red color. And now you watch as it almost looks like these two parts of living plant are communicating with each other somehow. And with that, the precursor is almost shunted back into your hand, and that tendril folds back up into itself. And you watch as those green vines now make this vibrant red color that are lashed around the precursor.
I mean, I'm happy to hold on to it. This gift has served me well. You wouldn't mind if I come back later and visit you, would you? Just a rustle of the branches would be acceptable.
There is no response from the tree, but you feel nothing but an inviting touch.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll leave you in this clearing to its peace now. Real quick, I just gotta test something real quick. And it just picks up, is there anything, a stone, a clump of dirt on the ground, something preferably alive?
Yeah, you can find twigs.
Yeah.
Sticks.
He'll take a stick and back up from the tree and go to the edge of the pool and looking up, just kind of toss it in the water.
Okay.
See if anything happens to the stick.
The stick just sinks. And then you watch as it resurfaces and there's a hand that's holding onto it,
What?
and this like beautiful like female figure just kind of like rests at the side of the pool and like drops his stick down and just kind of looks up at you. Her eyes are um, completely like pupilless and emanating like this kind of orange glow.
Oh, hi. Didn't mean to. Are you the tree? Are you a guardian? My name is Cass. Hi.
She just smiles at you and she speaks. Do you understand all languages? How does, or is it only written?
Oh, actually, that's a good. I think it's only written.
That's okay, because she's speaking a language that you don't understand, but in your head, you feel the message relayed. Yes, I am the guardian. It's a pleasure to have a visitor. On a brief look over her, she just has like her arms like kind of hanging over. She's like lounging at like the pool basically. She is covered in Yuan Ti hieroglyphs. Like basically it looks like scripture has like been branded into her body.
On just the briefest of looks, I don't want to be rude, but can I pick up any words? Any?
Give me a perception check.
A natural 20 for 27.
Okay. On her arm, you get a couple little things. You see something that says "Serpent of the Deep," something about a brother, dance of creation, and then you see a specific line, like across the chest, that says Ahriman, the writhing shadow, the firstborn of chaos.
Well, I think I've gotten what I want from this place. I certainly don't want you to feel like you have to protect this location from me. I think I've gotten permission from the tree to come back at some point, so maybe I will.
You watch as she just like begins slowly like being lifted from the water, and she's like holding her hand out to you.
You know, a tree over there told me that anybody who goes in doesn't ever really come out, so I'm not sure that I have friends, I have places to be. But perhaps later. You are...
Cass, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Fuck. Advantage, thankfully.
Do you have advantage against charm effects?
Wisdom, we have Hero's Feast.
Hero's Feast?
17. 19.
Okay. You feel yourself being like compelled and almost like made kind of like drowsy. And you get the sense that like the longer you're here, the more chance that your will is going to succumb to this. And yeah, you get the sense she's actively trying to move to the pool.
Yeah, you are quite beautiful. No thanks. Later, friends to get back to. And then he vanishes in a puff of smoke.
Okay. Right before you do, you would have realized that from behind you, there is almost an identical looking woman that has like completely covered in scripture as well. That has like also come from a pool from behind you that was like slowly moving behind you before you. What spell are you using?
Dimension Door.
Dimension Door, good choice. Before you Dimension Door out of there.
Okay. Puff of green smoke next to you two, and Cass reappears.
As you look back, you notice that the woman that was coming from behind you, she was like physically tethered to something. There's like a tentacle that's like melding with like her back that was like pulling her, like pushing her out of the pool and then pulls her back in.
Oh, okay. We got a bit of a anglerfish kind of vibe.
You know, you never said the safe word, so we kind of just sat here and watched.
Yeah, we never designated as pineapple, I think it was.
Yeah, so Shar and I just were kind of assuming you had it under control, which I mean you do, because you're here, so...
I did.
Yeah.
Always under control.
Tree seemed nice. Yeah. I
the
mean...
tree was nice. The sexy nymphs coming out of the pool, I think they wanted to drown me for good.
Happens
but
to the
hey,
best of men.
the did something to my gun. I thought I would want it, but it didn't. Also, might be corrupted by the Wanti and Ahriman. He like looks around as he says that word. Might be corrupted by that person. Not sure. They had a bunch of Wanti scripture written all over them. But hey, that was fun.
Okay.
Onwards.
Huh.
Yeah, onwards. Glad you didn't die, or have to. I'm glad you didn't use a backup plan.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that only works if I have the portable hole open also. So just, full transparency.
Noted. Keep that in mind. So shall we head to the coast and kind of go from there?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get away from here before they figure out how to walk on land.
Okay, perfect. I say we skirt over that 6 crown thing and just head towards the coast. What do you think about that?
Oh, 6 crown is that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of on the way.
Like, we don't even have to peek at it, honestly. We can just...
But you don't want to see what's going on there?
I mean, we can. I'm more interested in the ruins, but
yeah.
I just figured. The less Wanty that we run into, the better.
Does anybody have a boat? Perhaps. How are we? How are we getting to the encampment?
A boat.
We gave up the portable, collapsible
Yeah, we don't have a
boat.
boat. I mean, can Barrett carry all of us?
Probably not. If
I
it's
can fly.
If it's less than
I
10
can get
minutes, we
to
can always
fly.
hide in the hole.
That's a good idea too. Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there. We'll get to the coast. We'll figure it out.
Cool.
Who knows? There might be a canoe sitting right on the boat on the beach.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, not an issue. I can make us one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we can make boats. Magic.
So with that, as you kind of make your way through the chunk, Cass, as you commune with your with the precursor, there are going to be some benefits to this device. So now it is a +1, so you get +1 to attacks and damage on it. And while you are wielding it, meaning like if you have just fired it, or fired it in the last round, you have resistance to both radiant and necrotic damage.
Okay. So, if used within the
So I'd say
previous range.
anytime it's fired, you have resistance to radiant and necrotic damage until the end of the phase.
Okay. Added.
Okay. So as you near 6 crown, you begin to hear sounds of drums as you approach this location. Getting even closer, you see this faint torchlight coming from the area. This clearly is what looks like a Wanti encampment that has been fortified. And you hear drums beating from within.
At the 6 crown?
Yeah.
Does it look like people are moving in and out anywhere, or just like everyone's? Oh, it's middle of the night. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they're night people.
There's this activity from within.
Okay. I mean,
Maybe we
I'm
should just try
fine
to sneak
with-
by.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That seems like a great plan.
Okay. So you want to give it a bit of a wide berth?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me some stealth checks.
Cass will. Cass will give Sundar a little bardic inspiration. Shar, you don't need it.
Do I have to use it?
No, you don't. You only have.
Okay,
I mean, you only
26.
have to ever use it if you fail.
Oh, okay.
22.
Oh wait, my advantage and disadvantage cancels. So.
How do you have disadvantage?
Because I have medium armor on.
Oh.
23.
Okay.
26.
Wow.
I'm stealthy.
Okay, yeah. I will say you guys would have seen some. There are a few Wanchi foot soldiers that are kind of patrolling the perimeter here, but you just stop making noise, get real low down to the brush, and they pass, and you make your way through no problem. With that, you head to the eastern shore, and in the distance, maybe like a mile and a half swim, you do see the island that's marked as the FETC encampment. That does look like it's been pretty heavily reinforced.
Okay.
Okay. Hear me out. We did a little world tree visit. Any chance we just peek at the ruins of Gone and just see what's happening down there? Like if maybe a certain someone was being held prisoner right there. Don't even have to do any freeing, just a quick look. Sundar's like, "Ugh."
I think that's fair.
Oh,
It's on,
yes,
Okay.
okay.
Sure.
it's on the coast too. We can just set sail from there.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Should we make the boats or boat for a quick getaway in case we need
That's a
to?
great idea. Yes.
Yes.
That's genius.
Okay. I can handle the boat. You handle the maybe oars, and he he like ruffles through a bag, pulls out some clothes, and grabs like a white skirt. White, put it, we come in peace.
Oh, for that. Okay, yeah. Like a little flag, like a white flag,
Yeah.
flagpole type situation.
Yeah.
Do we need to go like forage for materials or something?
No.
Oh, that would... Is there a chance that we could do this? This is not something we've ever done before, so it feels super reckless to try and do this right now. But is there a chance we could try to do this as a combined spell? Like, we've seen other people cast combined magic.
Nethery's ritual casting. Let's try it. I got 1/4 spell, 1/4 level left. I mean, might as well.
Okay, so what spell are you combining here?
I think we're both
Fabricate.
fabricating.
Okay. And how can you describe to me how you're attempting to combine this?
I think we just are both making a boat, but doing different components of it and trying to meld it together. So I think Cass is focusing on the wood components, and I'm doing the metallic and fabric components. Or if you have a different vision.
I think that's fine to add a little bit more flair to it.
Love flair.
I think it's fair to say, know jack shit about this combined spellcasting, but Cass will draw he'll like take a sharpened stick and draw some runic druidic symbols and like a ritual circle around both Sandara and Cass with just very generic words like unity and combination and just whatever whatever words of power that might help to combine their magic in some sense. And he'll just say, maybe channel the magic into, me, the wood, you, whatever, the fabric and other parts, and maybe sort of focus them through these runic symbols. Maybe it works. I don't know.
Yeah, I can do that. She steps in the circle and holds out her hand.
You'll clasp it.
Give me a combined check here.
Everyone here, nobody has used it yet, but everyone here but Cass does have a heroic inspiration from my little storytelling.
Oh yeah,
Realizing that
I
might be
have
a
like
very useless
so
feat.
many inspirations.
But
I'll tell you this right now. The total DC here is a 40 to pull this off.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a 26
I'm sorry. Do
without
you
inspiration.
say Arcana? What are we doing?
Arcana.
Okay. $11.
Okay. So that is going to be a fail. Jasmine, did you say you were planning on using some inspiration?
Yeah.
It's a D10.
7.
That'll push you over. Okay. So as you combine your efforts to attempt to fabricate a boat, in seeing the way that Alexi Faraday pulled this off, in remembering reading a certain text in Caldrick's Mage Tower back in Karsus Folly, you both have some vague understanding of how you would go about doing this. And you do. You interweave this fabricate spell, and arguably augment it by casting it together. And sure enough, there is going to be a boat of quite excellent quality that is ready for you. It's got little like metal ballasts where oars can go through it, which have been created by the Fabricate spell. So this is quite nice for a boat that didn't exist 2 seconds ago.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
It could have gone terribly.
absolutely. We could have just destroyed some trees and nothing happened.
Alright, let's
I wonder what would happen if we combine and disintegrate. And Sidara's eyes light up, like, kind of scarily. Just like, we could destroy so many things.
Alright, yeah. Okay, I'm not the only crazy one. Help me pull this up. And begins
okay,
lugging to beach this craft.
Do you have a ring of telekinesis? Why are we pulling this? I don't have any strength.
That's right. Telekinesis
Varric,
it up.
pull this up.
Pulls it up.
Okay.
Just a little looky-loo.
Just a little looky-loo. We'll be really quiet, really sneaky. Easy peasy. Actually, Char, I feel like you've got this. Cass, I'm gonna cast invisibility on us. Okay.
Okay, that's smart.
I will do a twin invisibility. Oh, sweet.
Okay.
That doesn't even use a spell slot. I forgot.
Okay. So you are now heading. So you and Cass are invisible, and you're heading down to the ruins of Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me stealth checks at advantage. Not you, Shar. You
Aren't you
give me a stealth
invisible
check.
when I'm like in the shadows?
That is a specific ability that you can choose to use. It's once per
Okay.
day.
Yeah, the day's almost over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
been...
Yeah, I'll use it.
Okay. So you can give me that at advantage as well.
22 for Cass.
28 for Sindara.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
Hold a 1 and a 4.
You got
Oh my gosh, and
the
it's still a 20.
Okay. Well, you all make it through quite quietly, kind of picking up on. You kind of have watched Char move through the jungle, so you kind of get a little bit into the rhythm of it, and being less worried about being seen helps as well. So as you head over to the ruins of God, I would like perception checks as well, please.
Do you have a band t-shirt on? I just realized.
22.
What shirt? Oof. 13.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. As you approach these ruins, you don't see any evidence that there is civilization here. There doesn't appear to be like an active Wanti presence in this place right now. It quite literally looks like the ruins of a Wanti temple. Specifically, it's almost like a series of stone structures that are built around what looks like a like ritual altar. The altar itself is like this massive stone tablet that has been cracked. And there does appear to be some text, some hieroglyphs that are on the tablet itself.
So no evidence of recent excavation. Doesn't look like people are been around anytime recently, right?
It does not look like there's been anything that's been around recently.
Well, seems like it's been. She like first starts whispering and then like sticks her hand out. Doesn't seem like anyone's been here for quite a while, so I don't think this is where they're holding them captive and making them work.
Probably closer to the heart of whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Could be the serpent, like the main shrine itself. What's the
Yeah, there's
you wanna
some.
a tablet up there?
Let me well, I'd say watch my back, but I'm gonna
I
walk
can't
up
see
there.
it. Yeah, watch for booby traps.
Oh shit. Shar, wanna wherever you are, Shar, wanna help me out here?
Sure. You want me to go? What do
Well,
you want me to do? Just look out for traps?
yeah.
Let's see.
I like pick up a stick that briefly, levitates for a moment before going invisible. Ah, okay. I'm right here, but yeah, all right.
Are gonna scan the area for traps or anything that would put us at
Give me an
danger.
investigation check.
What about a survival? Kind of survival-y. Well, okay.
No,
Well,
it's an
investigation's
investigation check.
18. Okay, 18.
Okay. You don't notice any traps. Your eyes are drawn to like ritual tablet um, for the altar. Uh, the altar very much looked like it cracked in half due to being unable to bear the weight of something that was placed upon it.
Oh, all right. Share that information with the group. Not sure what the significance is.
But there are
Okay. Cass tiptoes forward just enough to get clear view of the scripture or the script.
okay. I will post this in Discord as well. I will not be free typing it, so good luck.
Okay. That's fair.
But I'll read it for you. And so the serpent of the deep sank into the depths, his form twisting and changing, his essence merging with the darkness. He became the lord of the unknown, master of the depths, the shadow that lurks beneath. His name was whispered in the void, a secret known only to the abyss itself.
Okay.
Does it seem like the same serpent that the last thing we read was referring to? The serpent of the ninefold path, talking about the infernal depth deep.
That would be. Yeah, Cass comes back and like, hey, where are you? Hey, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm right here.
Right here.
Repeats the words. Yeah. That I think is Ahriman. I. Huh. You don't think You know, it's sounding quite a lot like Aramon and Asmodeus are kind of a lot of connections there.
Shadow that lurks beneath.
Either they're competing and are two separate things, or they're the same. And, you know, if the Travelers taught me anything, it's that fate doesn't really exist. It's all manipulated. Everything is as it's meant to be by some hand or the other.
Shadow that lurks beneath. Doesn't that sound familiar to anybody? Has somebody said that to us recently? Did
Yes.
Bentley say that as he was dying?
Yes.
This is a guess. I'm actually not positive. Above the
No.
table.
Yeah, no. Bentley
Doesn't
or
he like died and
Silva.
was like, the bear's gonna kill all of us?
Let me just check the Mistral Almanac real quick. But yeah, he said something of the deep is gonna.
Okay. I don't know. That's just I was tickling something in my brain.
Oh, dude, holy shit. Okay, no, what he said is, now I remember it, is will be swallowed by the fifth tide.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
just guessed that session episode. That was amazing, and I got it right on.
Nice. Solid. Okay, okay. Well, yeah. Armon, the other person, a lot of hell people doing hell stuff.
Well,
Is this like...
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, it's all Yuan Ti script. So the Yuan Ti are, I mean, Bensozia is like friends with or controlling them, or at least not hostile to them, and they seem to worship their own group, Seth and whatever that other name was. The two names that are tied to like chaos and order and some shit. But then also over here, there's these people, the serpents, Armon and Jazirian.
Oh.
Maybe the two are one. Maybe they're separate things. But it's a bit weird.
So why are they so willing to work with her? Is it just like their values align, or...
Something is below us, and they both seem to want it to not be. Not, well, I guess actually, yes,
You
literally.
couldn't see it.
I couldn't see that, yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Man, this is... I feel like I just need to sit in a library for like a week to figure this out.
It's all a lot more culty than I thought it would be.
Very culty.
I don't know
Very
why, but...
culty.
Do you think Leopold would have any information? That little
He's a library. Oh my gosh, Shar. Yes.
He is a library. Wait, is he with us, or is he at the library?
I don't know if I left him on the ship or not. I usually just assume he's there or not. Leopold.
You feel him land on your shoulder and just goes, "Sorry, you guys were moving a little faster than usual, and I'm not used to flying through the jungle. The humidity makes the air thicker."
Wouldn't that make it easier to fly?
No, it's like swimming through mud.
Oh. Well, sorry, didn't know. So we're gonna hop in this boat and head over to the FETC encampment, but we've got some questions, and we found this script that maybe you would have answers about.
Do you want to maybe have me crack open the library while we're on the boat, or do you want me to do it out here in
Oh,
the open, where there's the snake monsters that have been hunting you?
maybe we wait till we're solidly in the encampment so that we don't lose any books. I mean, it
So we're
seems
gonna
like
do this.
opening a library on a boat seems also not like a good idea.
Okay, so maybe an hour, not an hour. You just tell me,
Just sit tight. No, just sit tight.
because I'll crack a book anywhere.
I mean,
So you guys headed back to the shore?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can hey DM, can I do a bit of a flashback / retcon to say maybe we pulled the dead halfling body out of the snake and threw it in the portable hole?
Yep, flashback. We see Cass very carefully shoving this half-digested halfling body.
Perfect. Far away from Vale, as far as it can be.
Okay.
Alright, on the boat, string up the white flag of We Come in Peace, and go across this bay.
Okay. So as you make your way across, at this point, dawn has begun to with that, you see this like pretty largely fortified stone structure, and you hear this booming voice as you're about maybe like 200 feet away. You see like a little head sticking out that just says, "Hey, you, state your business."
Cass responds with thaumaturgy enchantment. Hello. We're a group called the Remnants. We come in peace, as you can see by our white flag. I think we have quite a few things that Xander might like. We're from New Callum.
There's a long pause. Come around to the south side. And no funny business.
Oh, we're terribly not funny. South side it is.
All right.
What are you talking
So
about?
that you
That's so hilarious.
row your way around to the south side, and there you see like the entrance to this fort. So you're approaching by foot now?
We'll beach it and walk, yeah, if
Yeah.
there's a port or...
Tell Varric to pull it up to, or like tie it in. I don't know, boat lingo.
Yeah. I will ring a telekinesis to completely pull it out of the water, so no chance it goes back in.
Okay. With that, you watch as three individuals step out. The one up front is a dwarf. She's got kind of like a scar that kind of / burn injury to the tip of her nose. She's wearing this like reinforced jacket that's clearly got like steel plating going over it, and then just this like collage of metals on the side of her lapel. Cass, you haven't really seen anyone that looks like this. This is like a militarized version. Behind her, on either side, you see a half orc that's got a high collared coat, kind of similar to yours, except basically his collar is like popped, and is holding like is like reaching into his jacket, like just his arm resting on something that he's not pulling out. And then next to her, you see this very broad-shouldered human that has one arm that has been completely replaced with clockwork parts that is letting his hand rest on a great sword that he has to the side. And you hear that familiar voice that was shouting at you come from the female. And she says, "Now that we've met, go ahead and state your business again. How'd you hear about Xander?"
Well, I believe my friend here, my good friend, she can introduce herself. She might have worked with Xander in the past, but besides that, I think we found the body of one of your exarchs, a Callum Frey.
They look at each other, and then just says, "How do we know it weren't you that killed him?"
Well, he was inside the body of a giant snake and is half digested, and I highly doubt you believe any of us could do that to him. We're more than willing to accept our position coming to your encampment here. We wish to work, perhaps, alongside you. Our goals might align within this Yuan Ti territory, if you will.
With that, she just gives you a nod, and the two larger individuals begin flanking around you as she turns to like open the door to let you inside the fortress.
Follow.
Nice arm.
He just
I
kind
say
of
to
like,
the clockwork arm.
yeah, he just kind of like squints his eyes at you a little bit and like nods you forward, and they kind of push you through. Cass, it's coming to you now. You've heard of the like mobilization of the FETC military in times of like great. Something's got to be going really wrong for them to deploy the Steel Covenant, but you get the sense that this is what you're looking at right now.
Okay. Keep his mouth shut for now.
So as they push you into the encampment, you look around and there's like a very like ragtag group of like guerrilla fighters here. Like you see people that are just like, some of them are just covered in snakeskin. There are others that are like clearly grilling up what looks like Yuan Ti flesh, like making like various like kebabs and stuff like that. Um, um, you watch as some are um, like actively like crafting and enchanting and tinkering with things. Like this is clearly like a war camp. And you see signs that this place has been attacked multiple times. So you can clearly see that the structure has been built, kind of sacked, rebuilt, sacked, and rebuilt to like various stages. Because you can see that the structure is built off of the bones of like older structures. So with that, you're led into kind of one of the nicer looking tents. And with that, right at the base of that place, you watch as the dwarf just goes, 1 second. And you're asked to wait there as she heads inside, and you hear some indistinct conversation. And then she just goes, Ardent, send him in.
Real quickly while she steps away, even if there's other guards, I turn to the group. How do we feel about fully revealing our cards, giving them what is rightfully theirs? Not great. Okay.
I mean, just maybe we just keep the little sundial thing. I don't know. That thing seems.
All right.
So we're gonna present the fact that we found one of their people killed, but we're not gonna tell them about the note or the artifact that we had found on the ship.
Maybe we
I'll
give them
figure
the
it out.
note. You'll wing it. You'll do
That's
great,
why you're
Cass.
pushed inside. And you see a surprisingly young looking human. He is maybe maybe in his late 20s. He's got this kind of like scruffy but like short cut facial hair. Kind of like shocks of dark hair with like a single like uh, bit of like early gray that's coming in for someone that's this young. Um, Very dark, almost like jet black looking eyes. Um, Wearing, it looks like he's customized like his otherwise FETC officer's attire to be completely black. Um, and where there would usually be badges, you see that he's like taken them off. So it's just like blank officer's coat. Um, uh, at this large desk, you see a map identical to the one that you have in your possession. And what looks like just stacks of books. There's like a very clearly like enchanted slash cursed dagger that's like stabbed into the wooden table as well, and a handgun with like runic etchings in all of them. He kind of scans over all your group. He looks tired. His eyes rest on you, Chuck, and he says, Chuck, I was wondering when you'd come back. Here to tie up loose ends?
No, I wouldn't call it that quite, but it seems that fortune has led me back to the land of snakes. I'm, as you can see, and she gestures to the rest of the group, here with new friends on a slightly different mission.
He says, Sergeant Kovacs, this is our illustrious cartographer, the one that you've heard so much about. But I'm not mistaken, you are here to kill Ben Sozia.
Well, we're here specifically here at the FETC. Due to the unfortunate finding that we've made earlier today, it seems like one of your men has fallen. What was his name, Cass?
Uh, uh,
Mr. Frey?
Callum Frey, that would be.
Alan Frey.
That's a shame. Did you bring his body?
We did. Along with some possessions we found on his airship. But, and we are all being honest when we say this, we think that our goals might align in what's happening in this land. And all of us here, we're called the Remnants, by the way. You might have heard of us. Um,
I haven't.
Great. Well, I mean, quite.
Very
Okay.
isolated here. Probably don't get a lot of news.
Thank you. Exactly. We would like some measure of assurance that once we hand all of this over, we won't immediately be killed as our usefulness is over. And Cass stands up tall.
We start by you returning the body of my fallen man.
Of course. Going to reach for this right now. Don't be alarmed. He pushes aside his coat, showing the precursor, but then grabbing the portable hole next to it. Telekinesis is out the body.
You watch as he just goes, Sergeant Kovacs, you can leave us and send in Vela and the Hollow. And you watch as the dwarf just goes, Sir, are you sure? He says, I've got a feeling they'll behave. We're fine in here. And she just kind of narrows her eyes and leaves.
Nurse her eyes at us.
Just at him.
Oh. She at never mind. Are we behaving or someone else behaving?
With that, he just kind of like peeks over towards the fallen halfling. And he just kind of like puts on a glove and like you watch as he just kind of like touches the bolt that's sticking out of his eye.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's not sure.
Yep.
And he just goes,
It was inside
looks
of a
up and
snake
just says,
body type thing.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for returning, my friend. At this, you hear like a ruffle of the like tent flap from behind you, and you see this kind of dark-skinned, dark-haired drow female, like very, very lithe, like a little bit, honestly, a little taller than Vale would look, and even like thinner. She's almost just like a wisp of a person. As she kind of like very gracefully enters, she just like begins to chuckle as she sees the dead body. And she goes, "Oh my, Frey, what did we end up in?" And you watch as she reaches down, takes the bolt, and very like unceremoniously like rips the bolt out of his head, which just like completely ruins the eyeball. And then she just like unceremoniously starts like going through stuff.
We, no love lost amongst the dead, I guess. We have his possessions as well.
That both of them look at you and says, "Which you were planning to return?"
Yes. Listen, let me drop the platinum piece words as I've been told. We're here to kill Bensozia. She has somebody that we care about a lot. Brainwashed, controlled, and we don't have very many friends in this area. And I think maybe you, Xander, and whatever your name was, we all want the same thing. So, if we are backstabbed. Well, we haven't made our way here peacefully, to say the least. And floating up out of the hole is the sundial and the paper, the note to Xander. Consider this, I guess, an offering of trust. And they rest next to his body.
Okay, with that, he looks at Nyx and kind of gives her a nod. She stoops down and, like, with two hands, like, lifts up the keystone, puts it on his desk, and she brings over the sheet of paper. Behind her, you see a kind of beautiful elven woman with, like, kind of grayish blue hair that's wrapped in a braid that just begins to, like, walk over. She just kneels next to the body of Callum Frey, and she just, like, sprinkles this, like, gem dust over his chest, and she's beginning to perform a resurrection ritual right
Not I fear.
Okay.
now. The other two are just ignoring this is happening. As Xander's note looks back up at you and says, "Well, I tend to agree with all of you. Ben Sovia has been the biggest thorn in my side, and I won't be too proud to say that men much more powerful than me have tried to put her down and failed. So, who am I to say no to some motivated little helpers, huh?" He says, "So Mr. Frey will be up and about in a short amount of time. He can perhaps give you some insight into how you can even reach Bensozia. Let me ask you, what do you all make of this?" As he points towards the keystone.
Well, clearly it is a key of some sort, protected by whatever secrets these Wanti people hold, or perhaps people more important than them. Judging by the letter, which we did read, some names have been tried, gods of the Wanti, and someone else I've never heard of. I have a few names in mind, personally, to speak to it. Not willing to take that risk. All that I know, really, is that Bensozia probably wants this, and we'd like to keep it out of her hands.
So that's where you're mistaken. She doesn't need it.
Great.
Apparently, with the unique nature of her lineage, she has afforded herself unbridled access to the vault beneath the Servant Lord's shrine.
What specifically about her lineage? The
Probably the child of Asmodeus.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it like the hell part, or
We have a lot to discuss. And with that, he just, like, gestures towards you to, like, take a seat at his desk. And there's, like, a couple other seats towards, like, the sides of the tent. So there's, like, two seats up front, and then people are gonna have to sit off to the side. He says, and can I get anybody a drink?
Yes.
Jesus, yes. Also,
So,
Cass, do you have prestidigitation? I feel like I smell like swamp.
Oh, yeah, you could have anytime.
Thank you.
Lazily
Yeah, I
waves of
just
hand.
realized as we. Thank you. Okay.
Shar? No, you seem like you like the stink.
Helps me blend in with my surroundings.
Exactly. Cleans himself off too.
so with that, you're all served a very stiff drink as Xander just kind of gives you a little bit of the history of Bensosia. He says, um, early in my tenure as the de facto governor of the Serpent Lord's Shrine, I came across Bensosia, or Trissandra, as she called herself back then. She was confused. A little bit of background. My life's work was to gather individuals of very specific talents. This was based off of a Orphinian scholar's work in identifying individuals called Exarch, which he believed were basically people created by gods outside of the typical creation window. It's going to be a lot harder for me to explain than if you had just read the book, of which we have a few copies. At any rate, I felt that there was a call to myself and other peoples of this lineage. And we found, and you watch as he says that, you watch as Nyx walks by all of you and takes like this little like bone charm and holds it out to place it.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What?
The drow female comes by with like a little bone charm for each of you that she wants to place in each of your hands.
Yeah, okay.
So as he's speaking, the charm is dropped in your hands, Cass, and you watch as Xander is just staring at you for like a specific response, seeming to like expect something for when you touch the bone charm. As soon as it hits your hand, there's no response to it. And then you watch as his eyes kind of move over towards Sindara. But we found that we had visions when exposed to certain ancient materials. And the bone charm is dropped in your hand, Sindara. No response. And once more with Varric, no response. And he kind of narrows his eyes at all of you and just says, looks up at like Nyx, who looks a little bit frustrated. And she comes over and just collects the bone charms from all of you.
Do they completely skip Shar?
They do.
Right, so we're not exarchs. I guess that's what you were determining. We know that Shar is one from, she's a new friend, but doesn't mean we're not useful.
What did you do when you gathered these exarchs?
I brought them here.
For what end?
Because I knew that our purpose, our ultimate purpose, and you watch as he kind of like looks over his shoulder towards the tent and then looks back at you, is greater than any nation, any borders, any company, that the reason we were created was to change the nature of creation itself. And that starts right here. Now, what I didn't know is that Trissandra, this woman who had clearly had a bit of a dark past, someone who I wasn't above the task of attempting to redeem, had someone whispering in her ear. Some foul influence that turned her against her friends, looking at Shar, and her colleagues. So I don't know if she's possessed or if she was playing us the whole time or what, but I fear that she is going to corrupt the heart of Karsus in a way that will not be able to be reversed. And I fear that we're at a point where we're now running out of time. So I don't know what your disagreement with Bensozia is, but the fact that you have history, the fact that you have confidence is something that can be used. So if there's any way that I can help, do let me know. Otherwise, the first step is going to be cracking this keystone. Because at some point, someone's going to have to start taking some risks.
I'm going to cast a spell real quick to make sure Bensozia isn't looking. Is that alright?
By all means.
To see invisibility.
Okay. As soon as you finish casting your spell, you hear the halfling just go.
Oh.
And with that, you watch as the elf stands up and just says, "It's done," and leaves.
Okay.
With that, Callum Frey's just laying there, one eye still completely ruined.
Oh.
We can fix that, I think.
You watch as Xander looks over towards Max and just says, "Why don't you pick up our halfling and help him find his resting place?"
Not his final resting place, clearly.
Yeah, Xander just kind of like smiles and nods at you, Sabara. So with that, it's just you and he just says, "So now we can't be watched." Is there something you wanted to say?
Is there any scrying orbs around us?
Currently,
or any invisible people? Anyone lurking in the corners of the tent?
no.
Okay. Bensozia, or Trissandra, isn't personally involved with me, more so Shar. But I think I might have pissed her off, and she has been sending a message by watching us. What I wanted to ask was, it seems obvious, but there are names missing from this cipher, from this key. Has the name of Lord of the Hells or the serpents of creation, have they been tried yet?
To be clear, this is the first time I'm seeing Keystone. Callum Frey believed of its existence based on some schematics he found in a delving in a Wanti temple. And he correctly discerned its location, and being one of the best thieves in our outfit, was able to nab it on his own. This is the first I'm hearing of it. So I can confidently tell you that no names have been tried, but seeing as though you seem to be the foremost expert on the matter, perhaps you'd like to give it a whirl.
Why not? I've got protections, right? Where is this thing at? Where have they taken it?
It's right in front of you on his desk.
Cass will walk up and struggle to lift it, hold it in his hands, and whisper the name Ahriman into it.
Now, as you do this, you realize
Yes.
you have to do this with some kind of intent and to assign an identity to the name.
He is saying it with a purpose, and yeah, I guess an intent that it is one of the missing names.
What I'm getting at is you need to be more specific as far as like which side of the crescent you're applying this to.
Oh.
So as soon as you hold the crescent, there are two names that are already in it. The one on the left being Seth, and the one on the right being Marshall. Which side are you applying the name to?
They say that Seth represents good and Marshall embodies evil.
Oh god. All right, now we got some
Now
conflicting player knowledge.
Order, chaos, creation, destruction, light.
He says, I'm sorry, which side was Seth into?
The left.
He says Ahriman with the intent into the right side of the disc.
As soon as the word leaves your mouth, there is this freezing chill that enters the room, and you feel like something has gripped like your very life force. And you feel like at any moment your very existence is just going to be like crushed into dust. And with that, a very gentle glow lights up on the right side of the crescent moon as you say that name.
Oh. Okay. Somebody else want to offer themselves to no. Okay. He glances up at Xander and with the intent onto the left side before he can say anything says Jazirian.
Once again, that same sensation and this golden bright light lights, and 4 out of 6 of the rooms are lit.
All right.
Maybe I'm impressed. Maybe pace yourself, though.
Yeah. He drops as gently as he can with as shaken as he is, drops the sundial.
What you notice after you've spoken those words, the keystone is significantly lighter to you.
Oh.
Like you kind of realize, like, you hold it up and you've been holding it with one hand.
Oh. Well, I've I hope that proves we're on the right side, on the same side.
He nods and says, I'll say. I've got a scholar from the mainland. Not much of one, but a scholar nonetheless. I'm going to have him do some reading and maybe make some suggestions as to what the last names could be. Please find yourself some food, and we'll get you set up in some tents, if that is you'd like to have a place to lay your heads here.
I wouldn't deny it. Yeah. He walks back.
With that, he just kind of like walks over the table towards you and just kind of looks incredulously at the keystone, and he goes out and like touches it and just focuses on it for a bit. And then you see him like drop it, almost like he saw something that scared him. And that fear kind of turns into amusement and looks towards you. And he gives you this look of like, you crazy motherfucker. And then just like pats you on the back and laughs and just goes, oof, you would have done well here, my friend. And with that, he like pushes out of the tent and just says, Lyra, I need you to set up some tents.
Cassius, that was... I can't believe you said so many names.
I was pretty confident. Not sure if they're separate people, gods, entities, or the same, but what else would then those names be?
I mean, I guess. I don't... Wow. Okay. Good job.
Yeah. Cass looks at Shar. He just looks for an uncomfortably long period of time. Like shakes his head. Alright, let's I'm gonna go help him set up the tents or something. Yeah. Leaves.
Does this mean that you could get into the shrine or into the heart without this little keystone, since you're also exarch or whatever it's called?
I don't believe so, and I think if that were the case, then the majority of the people here at this camp would be able to access it. I'm special, but I'm not that special.
So I guess it's just Benzozia's hellish thing plus the fancy bone magic creation. It's just weird.
Potentially, she is a very powerful sorceress, so with a very historic backstory, let's say that.
Conversation, the tent flaps explode open, and you see this kind of like semi-elderly, kind of pudgy, like pockmarked human with these like kind of Coke bottle glasses that kind of comes through and then looks over you all and just says, I was told I would have a moment alone with the relic.
You're talking to us.
Let me boil that down into mercenary speak. I need you all to leave so that I can concentrate.
Sure. Walk out of the tent.
Thank you. And just like kind of pushes past you and then like walks over towards the relic. With that, let's take a quick 5-minute bathroom break and then we'll be done. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Please. Thank you. Yeah, it is. So, our Harbor Ghosts campaign never really took off,
Mm-hmm.
and me and Alex talked about that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was definitely my fault for not pushing it more. But we,
Really?
yeah, this is definitely something everybody else, like James and Eddie, should be here for. But
Mm-hmm.
me and Alex had an idea that we do, because personally, I want to give like Alex some time to actually be a player,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
and I think it would be fun. I really want to see you DM, but I think it would be fun. Yeah, I know. I know. I hate GMing also. Um, I think it would be fun if like all of us picked like some kind of system that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
D&D related and like
Mm-hmm.
ran it every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, um, how would you? I want to run Blades. So how would you feel about like a 3 weeks or like 3 sessions of D&D, and then 1 week of Blades in the Dark,
Ooh, yeah.
like every time?
That's mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
That gives.
I thought you were gonna do like an intermission where there's like at the end of this do a little mini blades, but I like that idea better. 3 weeks and 1 week.
We're kind of we're kind of doing that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we've I've kind of we've kind of made some general ideas, but I think if everybody is okay with it, and I hope James shows up at some point so we can kind of talk about it. Um, Maybe next week we play Blades in the Dark,
Mm-hmm.
but it's set within Farum. I'm kind of soft pitching the Blades in the Dark
So,
campaign, Alex.
I heard a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
it's a great soft pitch.
It's set within the city of Farum, which is going to be like an underground
Oh, I.
city.
Mm-hmm. I remember you guys mentioning that last time you were talking about playing blades, or in the text message somewhere.
And it's yeah. If you're cool with it, maybe once everybody is here, or as many people as we can get, before next week, we kind of talk about characters, talk about crew. There's that Excel sheet, plus I have 2 underground specific related crews, like
Oh, okay.
explorers and like ghost hunters, essentially. We can work it all out, but
I am down to clown. That sounds fun.
cool, cool. And I really want to see you
Never.
DM. Come on,
No.
you'd be as good
I
of a
will-
DM as me, or GM, whatever it is,
No,
as me.
absolutely not. I
I'm fucking
flounder under the pressure.
yeah, me too, me too. It's
Yeah, thank
terrifying.
you.
I think both of you. I know Piercy.
Say that again.
I said I know Pierce, you are great, and I know Jasmine. Once we saw it.
No. My goal in life is for you to never see it.
I think, yeah, I think it'd be fun to try out a bunch of non D&D campaigns. Not necessarily one shots, but short little bursts of things.
That would be fun.
I think so. But I think it'd be fun to switch DMs if we did stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming back from a quick break, you're all essentially shunted from the main tent as the FETC scholar. Yes, which is a little bit of a paradox. Goes in to evaluate the relic.
Cass left the tent just a few moments prior to
Mhm.
him coming in. Could I like see this guy walking across the causeway or whatever?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, nothing funky about him.
Give me a perception or insight check, depending on what you're looking for.
This would be insight for sure. Hold on. D&D Beyond just crashed.
So with insight, you're looking more not like at any outward like objective things. You're looking at like his general vibe.
Yeah, I'm looking to see yeah, general vibe. We can say if he's looking like off to make sure anybody's watching him walk into the tent or anything like that. 14.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need much. He's not like he looks kind of put out. Like he definitely does not want to be.
Okay.
He's like openly like muttering about like the mud on his shoes.
He's convinced fully. Reluctance is huge.
Yeah, and he's basically like seems like he's maybe kind of going through the motions. I'll give you this. He's carrying a heavy book, and as you like see him walk by you, you can see the title on the front that you make out to be The Folly of False Gods.
Okay.
With your understanding of like the FETC's outlook on religions in general is that basically like they're all bullshit. So having like an FETC religious scholar come in to evaluate a religious artifact is kind of, you know, who knows how helpful that's going to end up being.
Okay.
So with that in mind,
He laughs a bit.
with that in mind, he heads in, you head out. You have gone quite a long day without having a full rest. And if you'd like to do so, you'd be able to take some time to get like some sleep, some rest, what have you.
Proud of us, guys. That was a long, long trip. I will happily take some rest. I don't know what everyone else is gonna do.
Yeah, once I'll help pitch a tent if my help is
Yeah, well,
welcomed, and then yeah, settle down for a long rest.
Yeah, I'll settle down for a long rest. I don't think we need Leopold anymore, but just wanted to throw it out there that we were going to consult him, but sounds like Cass kind of nailed it on his own, so.
Well,
Okay.
about that, those Seth and Merkalt, and Aramon and Jazarian, they kind of sound like the same gods, but different cultural names for them.
I agree. Yeah.
So, I mean, that might be a lead to follow. The Wanti culture is, from what I understand, old and maybe similar, but sort of distinct in its own beliefs. What other? I mean, I don't know what other cultures we can go off of to find a similar link. You two don't seem like Shar, you seem like maybe you haven't had much education, and Sundara, I
That's
mean,
uh that's presumptuous of you, but yeah, I'd say you're right on the money with that.
right. Sundara, actually, Sundara, your culture is pretty far removed and historical. Um,
Mm?
are there any gods of creation and destruction, order and chaos that you hold?
DM.
Wait,
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know,
so
actually.
I think I said 10.
I don't even know if
give
we really
me
have
a give me a history check.
history. You know what? I'm gonna burn. Let me see. I'm gonna slap on a trance of order right now. Ask me all the questions you want.
You have a heroic
That's
inspiration.
a. That's a 10.
Reroll it. Fucking use my
Wait.
goddamn. I took a
Okay,
whole
okay,
feat
I'm
for it.
using it.
Please.
14.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to just like have some stuff like make some Valendry stuff up and run with it, or do you want to have
Sure.
some? Okay.
I mean, I
So
don't think. Yeah, I mean, other than what she's learned in Belinda, she's not super into history or anything. So
yeah, I mean,
she just slaps them down with the basic info she knows.
I would say generally the Valendry culture has really like de-emphasized the role of gods because like their whole culture existed in a time where like what the whole philosophy that was in vogue is like, but do we actually need gods? And that led to all the shit that happened. That being said, there is a very like academic understanding of like what gods are and the acknowledgement that they are like that they exist. But Valendrians look at them a lot more like you would look at something that's on a monster manual, where it's like this thing is like yeah, it's like pretty powerful, I guess, and it's based off of like the faith of multiple people, which like makes it a god. Um, so yeah, with that, I mean the Valendrians, they get a little bit more into creation in terms of like elven creation, which brings up the god Corellon. and like kind of the nature of his fight with the orcish deity Grumsh, and how like elves literally sprouted from like the blood of Corellon. So nothing terribly relevant to like, I mean, unless, I mean, in a way, Corellon is very much a god of creation, um, and one that has like taken on many faces. Um, but outside of that, nothing deeper in terms of like creation myths.
Why she doesn't really believe in gods. There you go. Tied it all to my backstory. Thanks.
Nice.
I will say that the one other thing I thought of was not necessarily gods specifically, but we talked about light and dark and creation and destruction, but also there's order and chaos. And that reminds me of the Circle of Ruin and Thistle. They were very all about chaos. I don't know who they primarily worshipped off the top of my head. But then contrasting that with order, you do have the whole plane of Mechanus and how Arnott essentially created to bring order back to a world that was destroyed. So that's all I've got to add.
Okay. Yeah, I guess your people aren't really from a time where you kind of were trying to kill the gods or some shit like that.
I know, I mean, like, what is a god if you just, magic hard enough to become a god? That's the concept. You don't kill the gods, you just become them. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, why even worship them if it's just some really, really powerful wizard who, like, stole all of the magic from a ballroom? You know? That's all I'm saying, is that anything really could be a god if you think hard enough about it.
Okay.
With that, you just in this like very long moment of silence, you hear Leopold just go, "So, do you want me to crack out those books now, or?"
So,
You watch as he like releases the invisibility, and just like this little poof, you see the imp, and he just kind of looks at you, Cass, and gives you this look of like that's kind of a crazy take, and then just like kind of begins flipping through his books.
Maybe recently, and I mean, listen, Leopold, I know you're not tied to me or anything. I don't have a contract with you. But maybe recent gods of order and chaos might be relevant.
also, maybe look into the Harbinger. That's what it was for the order, for the circle.
The
I don't know.
Harbinger.
Uh, I believe what you're referencing is the harbinger of inevitable doom.
I
Let me
believe you.
see.
That's what you want to call it.
Oh, okay, here it is. Yes, Zugtmoy is the name. The demon lord of rot and fungus
Oh,
that was, I
that's
believe, worshipped by the. Here it is. It says, okay, fear not, for your future must now sleep. In Zugmoy's cradle, your body shall steep. Your flesh a fine banquet of delicate food, a gift to the lady shall nourish the brood. What births from your leavings and grows in her nave shall feed from your ruins and fat from your grave. This is a traditional lullaby that is sung to those in Zugmoy's cradle. So perhaps that's the thing you're
doesn't
looking
really
for.
sound that chaotic, if I'm being honest.
Well, it's sort of in a way, sort of in an entropic kind of, interpretation of chaos, like everything just turning, rotting and decaying. Although she's not classically a god, that's a demon lord.
Okay.
So one can serve a demon lord, but it's not like worshiping a god. Because a god needs faith. A demon lord might just need or want you to do stuff. If that makes sense.
Okay, how about a god of order then?
Yeah,
God of order. Yeah, let's see. There's a couple.
sorry to. Yeah, while you look, Leopold, there's the Circle of Ruin and Thistle. There's not really, or at least we haven't found an opposite to them, a force that's fighting against them. Have we?
Well, in a way, you could say that Solinor was kind of the exact opposite. He was going to turn the whole world into a perfect land of clockwork perfection.
God, he just does not sound like a good person when you put it. I mean, no offense, I guess.
I mean, he was gonna do it for good reasons.
Sure. Maybe
A lot of people do things for.
Maybe Arnoth is something. A bastion of order. I don't know.
I mean, other than that, I can't think of anybody else. You're right. I can't think of anybody or anything else that has been very rigidly focused on order.
Well, there's the god Tyr, the even-handed. That's a pretty big one. That's like he's really got the kind of got a monopoly on like lawful good, which is like huge. You know what I mean? Like huge following. God of justice. You know, I guess less popular in Mistrala than popular, in other places. But yeah, yeah, it's like one of the main kind of part of the big three.
The big three?
I said my two names. Someone else can volunteer to say two names.
Tyr, Lathander, and Celian. Kind of the big three of like the good gods, like kind of the vanilla triad, if you will.
Vanilla.
Like if you just pick one of those, you're safe. If someone ever asks you, like, "Oh, do you like worship a god?" and you don't want to talk anymore, you just like pick one of those, and I'll be like, "Okay, whatever. That's boring."
Okay. None of it really feels right. Like, doesn't it feel like it's something that should have been percolating in our heads for quite a while now? We're just like, oh, the god, order and chaos, name a name, and we're just like, bam, slap it down.
Well, I think the idea is that, if I may, it seems like this keystone implies that there has maybe been one of these creator serpents that has actually percolated throughout all of existence, hiding under different names, which is sort of a bit of an academic theological mindfuck, if you will.
Oh, don't get too excited, Leopold.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the god Jazirian, like the creator serpent, hides as the serpent god Seth, which is, if I'm not mistaken, classically seen as kind of like an evil deity. But it raises the question, is it considered an evil deity just because that's from our smooth skin interpretations, where we just see the snake creatures as being evil because they look different than us, right? Or is it evil because they do a bunch of ritualistic human sacrifices and enslave people and are specifically rewarded for doing an evil deed that has no benefit to themselves? It is just purely evil in and of itself. and therefore their god rewards them for that. Who's to say? But it's interesting that these would be considered the same thing if this relic is in full.
Yes, great.
I tell you, this would blow the whole this would blow the whole religious textbook like academia wide open.
I mean, this could be your piece de resistance.
I know. Well, I mean, I would almost do this as like a separate book to the encyclopedias, but this is pretty big. If we could find a way to substantiate claims, then I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
how on earth do you substantiate that?
Seems we're missing
yeah.
a culture. Seems
Yeah,
we're
I
missing
wonder
an
if
interpretation.
I wonder if we try and find some of those. Didn't that letter say there are some extra texts that
That the
the
priests,
favored ones have?
you know,
Maybe we go out and scour that a little bit more to nail it down before we throw some names out to the secret stone that hurts people.
yeah, it did not feel good. Even though I think I was right, it did not feel great at all to try to name a name.
Can't imagine how being wrong feels.
Well, I mean, it killed that guy.
So maybe we rest for the night, come up with a plan to try and get more text, do more scouting, something of that sort.
Maybe Xandar has a direction we can go, but I mean, Shar, you apparently you're a cartographer, fabled, even.
Fabled, yeah.
Like I said, I've worn many hats.
Yeah, many secrets. Oh,
I wouldn't go that far.
it's a lot of places I think we can check out within this area. Sure. There's many. Actually, there's not that many. There's like three. Three, unless we want to go to big places.
We're gonna have to. Well, we don't have to scout at all, but it seems like that's gonna be the next step.
Yeah.
Seems like we eliminated most of the southern portion of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, at least we could be efficient.
And we could kind of use this as like a little home base. Pop on the mainland, do some scouting, hop back over here. Hopefully not get murdered brutally or eaten by snakes.
This might be horrifying, but excuse me for a second. Cass is going to try to turn into one of those snake warriors that were less snake, more humanoid.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Wow. You
That
have
is disgusting.
that's a I don't even think you can call that a tail. It's just
An appendage.
ugh. Yeah, I guess.
I keep it tucked up most of the time, but you know, I do have a tail, so let's.
Well, I'm saying that's something else. With this thing now, like it's fine. Like your tail is normal. I mean, I don't want to be racist, but this is something else entirely. Also, I was wondering, them eating the snakes, is that?
Seems weird.
It
Seems
seems
wrong.
weird. Yeah. I was like, it's not cannibalism, but it's something. But then I realized that you can talk to plants and animals.
Yeah.
So is that wrong too? Don't want to think about it.
What, talking to plants? That's not wrong.
No, eating them.
Oh. Oh, they're 100% alive until we kill them.
Yeah, so
You think you're a
that's
vegetarian because it's better, and it's like, but no, it's not really.
yeah, so it's kind of weird. But I feel like definitely the snakes. I'm not gonna eat any of the snakes. I don't think. Are you gonna eat some snake?
If we got to, yeah. I mean, if it's the only food we have, totally.
Protein.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Nourishment.
At this point, you hear this like commotion as the scholar like bursts out of the tent with Xander kind of following him. I mean, like, no, I just asked that you open your mind a little bit. He says, "Nope, I have solved the riddle. Just get one of your cronies to do the dirty work like you always do, Xander. And maybe we could talk about getting me back to the mainland. I believe there's more important work for me to be doing in the glorious name of the faith." And with that, Xander sees you all and just like says, like beckons you over.
You solved the riddle.
I have made a series of deductions based on your primitive and weird religions, and it can only be, and he looks at his notes, 8 possible choices, 4 for each half.
That's better than we had.
Yeah,
With that,
please.
he gives this like satisfied look at Xander.
Guys, this guy's like the evil version of Odd Luke, and I
Yeah.
don't like him.
Alex has
So,
an old wizard voice. They're all the same.
with let's see, we'll just catch everyone up to speed because presumably these are the cronies that will be reading names and stuff. And whenever says there should be if they don't get the right one first. By my calculations, you've got a 25% chance of getting it right on your first try, then 33, then 50.
You don't. Okay, just tell us the names.
Well, my first bet would be Tyr, the god Tyr. Supposedly lawful. Sound familiar? Supposedly just. A god of justice, some even say. So perhaps these primitives believe that the snake god of the sky turned into a snake god of the ground and then turned into a man with only one hand, no eyes, who was justice. Anyways, your next bet would be Palor, or the Dawn Father, a god of light, which bears some. It evokes some thematic similarities with Jazarian, at the very least. How it relates to this Seth character, I don't know, but I don't pretend to understand what makes snake people tick. Then there's Lathander, which is sort of like a god of like endurance and just sort of turn the other cheek and heavenly treasures sort of thing. Sort of lawful, I suppose. And then just to mix it up, I threw in the Raven Queen. That could be interesting.
I give an eye
But yeah.
to Alara.
Alara just, who is there, just kind of like narrows her eyes. I'll be honest, it's because I had 4 options for the other one and I wanted an even split down the middle. That one was kind of a throwaway answer, but who knows? Might be worth a shot if you've ran out of the other 3 and volunteers to say names. For the other one, my number 1 guess is Tiamat. Let it sink in.
Okay.
Okay.
Think about it. What
It's yeah, I'm with. Yeah.
is close to being a snake?
That's
Okay.
what you're going off of?
I mean, hear the man out. That's pretty great.
Just clear your mind.
You
What
already did this, Cass.
is close to being a snake? Anybody?
The
We're all
bird.
thinking it.
Dragon, serpent.
That's
Snake.
right, a dragon
thing.
serpent thing. Okay? Which is basically what Tiamat is a dragon serpent thing, god of dragon serpents. What if, I pose a question to you, what if a bunch of primitive serpent things prayed to a god that they thought was a serpent, a bunch of primitive dragon things prayed to a god they thought was a dragon? Turns out it's all the same fucking thing. None of it matters. You're all stupid. That's where my money's on. After that, some evil gods. You got Bane, Baal, and Shah.
Excuse me?
That's
Bane, Baal, Shar. Bane is a god of death. Baal is a god of murder. Shar is god of darkness.
Hmm.
So, there you have it. Mystery is there somewhere. I can't hold your hands and walk you the whole way, but I can give you everything you need to. So, I believe we're done here. Xander looks towards all of you in this sense. I'm curious what you think about these theories.
I'm gonna be honest, I hate all of them. I'm just gonna say it. I don't feel like any of them are right at all. Maybe the Raven Queen. And I think she would be on the
Thaddeus
dark
Whitmore
side.
just has a smirk on his face.
I'm not sure about
And I
that.
think she would be on the dark side, not the light side.
Well, all I can do is show you the way. You're welcome to take it or leave it. It's not as though it's my job to, I don't know, study these fascinating customs you all have.
I whispered to Cass, he's not even from here.
No, he's not. Of the Empire, I think.
You know, we wouldn't be in this situation if you all had submitted to one true deity.
All but the founder, right? Everything else false.
Look at what it's brought you. Out in the jungle, with mud on your boots.
There's actually no mud on our boots.
I see mud on
Just
your
clean them.
boots.
We just clean them.
Looks quite muddy to me.
I kick some mud onto his.
Wow. Behaving like children. What you're all in need of is a good, proper education.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say whipping.
Definitely thought you were
That
gonna say
would've been
spanking.
so nice.
No, you see, if you whip a child, you turn him into an intolerant, wailing piglet.
Is that what happened to you?
No, I was given purpose. A divine calling to serve the sacred machine and all the wonderful things it produces. And that brought me here, studying the ways in which other people are lost so that perhaps one day we can help them find their way. He just gives you this look. He gives you this look that's like, you didn't think about that, did you? I got you there. And he goes, well, this has been an enlightening talk for all of us, I'm sure. I do hope that I've been of assistance. And with that, I will bid you all farewell. May the founder guide each and every one of your hands, looking at you, Cass.
Mm-hmm.
And may he keep you. And then he just bows and then turns and begins to walk away.
Before he even walks out of earshot, Cass turns to Xander. What was that gentleman's name again? I don't believe we ever got it.
That was Dr. Thaddeus Whitmore.
Thank you.
Very wailing piglet energy from him.
There was some truth, maybe, to what he said, but I don't think anything was along the lines of gods of order versus chaos. Kind of just sounded like he was spouting shit he didn't believe in. Just throwing up names that maybe if I thought hard enough I could have come up with.
With that, Xander shrugs and says, like I said, he was a Far Empire theologian. I just use the tools I have access to.
Fair enough.
I'll send out some feelers back in Orphan, perhaps someone with a little bit more patience to take a look at all this.
Or maybe ask Mr. Frey again if he can think of anything else that he left out of his letter.
We've spoken.
Oh.
That's about as far as he got, and it cost him seemingly a few hefty curses, in addition to a hunting Wanti abomination that perpetually is going to be after him until he consumes him.
Lara, do you think there's anything you can do about that? Maybe in a show of good faith?
He says, I can take a look, but to be honest, I'm getting the sense that this level of artifact seems to be one of those irreversible curse things. We've been running into a lot of those lately, so I just don't want to get anyone's hopes.
Fair.
So she's gonna move throughout the camp to try to see what she can do.
I mean, I vote we track down some of these favored ones, honestly. I appreciate Sir Thaddeus's input, but it just doesn't really feel right to me. And if Mr. Frey thought that they might hold some clues, I think it's reasonable to check.
Well, yeah. Yeah. From the map he made, Char, there's the big three, it seems. Serpent Lord Shrine, 100%. I just want to throw it out there. 100% where Trissandra / Bensozia is, and possibly also Solnar. The Mausoleum and the Ziggurat, which leaves us a glade where I'm just going to say something fell from the sky. Broodmother and Life Eater, 2 encampments. I think it's easy to narrow it down to the 2 encampments where we can probably find some kind of high priest.
Swimming with these two and points at the 6th crown and it's beneath.
6 crown and slithers beneath. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, fair enough. We didn't really go there. Oh.
Also, you do remember seeing scripture like carved into the anglerfish bait bodies of the priestesses of the World Tree.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey Xander, might be a conversation for later. But have any of your FETC or whatever the hell you guys are, have any of you gone to the World Tree that Shar here wrote down?
No, we haven't had a reason to.
Okay. I think maybe some part of it has been corrupted by the 1T. Something to maybe keep in mind, I guess.
I mean, there's not much here that hasn't been corrupted by the Warm Team.
Fair.
I mean, half of the people in here aren't even, half the people in this jungle aren't even 1T. They're going to be basically prisoners from Sarek's Run.
Sucks.
Yeah, the whole town's basically a ghost town at this point.
Oh, that sucks.
Is that a place that?
That's above table, sorry.
Oh. So, we rest for the night and tomorrow start scouting various areas.
Yeah, tomorrow we make a decision where to go. One of these places. We got lots to choose from.
Yeah, lots to choose from.
So I don't want to put pressure. Now that we have a more clear direction, the way I see this is first things first, we need to crack this keystone and then fight our way into the Serpent Lord Shrine, make our way into the vault. No one knows exactly how long Bensozia needs to do what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And if she succeeds, it could very well mean the end to the world as we know it. So that could be tomorrow, could be the day after, a couple hours from now, could happen at any time because she has everything she needs. And he turns and leaves.
That was a terrible pep talk.
I have the feeling he's kind of at the end of his rope. Who knows how long he's been doing this?
Okay, so we rest, and as soon as we can, we scout as much as we can. And find the other two names.
Closest to us is Slithers Beneath, or 6 Crown. Start there.
Okay. With that, you all have a tentative plan for the morning. You lay your heads down to rest. And that is where we will pick up next week.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's all coming together, man. It's all coming together. I like it.
Worried.
Uh, you know, James or Eddie never joined us, but Jasmine, or sorry, Jessica, you're here.
Yeah.
So lots of J's. You got 3 J's. That's too many.
I'll leave.
Uh, how do you feel about a 3-and-1 D&D, 3 sessions of D&D, 1 session of Blades in the Dark, and kind of carrying that forward? That way we can, like, you know, play
Yeah,
D&D.
that'd be cool. Is it something that is it like is it gonna be a new campaign of Blades, or because I know we like I don't know, it was probably like a
Yeah.
year and a half ago we briefly okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
I wanted to do, it's kind of the idea that, like,